Hello, everyone, and welcome to Cat the RPG, episode 2. Sorry. Real quick, we're going to do some introductions as far as our players and their cat personas go. So, why don't we start with John? And why don't you tell us about yourself and the wonderful majesty that is showing up behind you
The
in your
glory,
picture?
the
Yeah.
glory is that is Chairman Mao, Chairman Meow.
Meow.
Yeah, my name is John. I play games and follow the adventures of my dog at Distillosaurus Rex on Instagram. Playing Chairman Meow. That's his cat name. Uh, Mr. Winston Churchill is his human pointed name. He is a large cat. He likes to do important cat things, like lie there and do some more laying around before taking another nap.
The
This
important cat
is
things. Gotcha.
hard work. This is
Yeah.
difficult work, but a cat must do it. It's very important.
A cat must do what a cat must do.
It's true, which is napping
Right.
and maybe catching the red light on occasion.
That's right. If I remember, that is part of that's part of your feats or your story that you have
Claim
caught
to
the
fame.
your claim to fame is you have caught the red dot before.
I have definitely caught the red dot, and don't you let anyone ever deny that that ever happened. It did. I was
Perfect.
Those are the
there.
younger years.
Right.
They're a little more spry.
Yeah. Wow. I'm still just as spry. Just I'm taking a nap.
All right,
Taking a nap
Mick.
right now.
Mick, why don't you tell us about yourself and who you were playing?
Yeah, I am Mick. You can catch my streams at twitch.tv/McTastic. And I am playing Tiger, also Cheese is his cat name. He wears a very fashionable jacket and he enjoys fishing.
Nice. And you go fishing with, I believe it's Tony, correct? Who is your adopted human, the one that you took in and allowed to live in your house with his family.
Yeah.
Okay. And just to recap, Tony's also a private investigator and takes you every so often on cases. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Good to know. Good to know. And last but not least, Adela, tell us about yourself and who you were playing.
Yes, I am Adela Perez. I love to play with you fine folks. um, I guess you can find me on Bellaby Now on Twitter, and I do have a website where I sell children's clothes. That's bellabyclothing.com. Today I am playing Fluffers MacGyver, very fluffy kitty cat with a tactical backpack that loves to solve problems. Fluffers actually lives with Cheese and Tony, and also Tony's wife, who is a hairdresser and completely oblivious that Tony is, in fact, an secret agent type. They have a young child that likes to carry me around like a baby. I do not like it, but I allow it because this child just can't. You can't reason with children sometimes, so might as well just leave it alone. Yes.
And did you say your name, like your human given name?
Uh, Fluffer MacGyver,
Right.
or
And
oh, just Fluffers.
okay.
Just
And MacGyver is your cat name.
yes.
Okay. Just making sure I remember. Thanks. And I am Jeremy Hochhalter. I'm going to be the game meowster today as we dive back into our two-parter here. Probably a two-parter. We'll see how it goes. Last time, which was 2 weeks ago, the cats were hanging out in their particular abodes. There was a storm outside. However, as Fluffers and Tiger were hanging out in their house and just kind of watching around outside, the mom of the house was late from coming home, and so Tiger was kind of watching out the window and watching things blow by, and had noticed across the street a stray cat in the neighborhood that goes by the name of Gremlin was creeping about the small shop, the bodega that's in the apartment building across the street, and had stopped and looked directly at them in the window, almost like they were trying to get Tiger's attention, maybe, and then went into the bodega. Tiger and Fluffers both know that Gremlin likes to go into the bodega, which is owned by Mr. Winston Churchill's human, and cause mischief.
I let him use it. He's allowed to use it.
Oh, is it? Well, I
really
mean,
mine.
he likes to go in there when you're not in there to cause mischief, because he knows you're not in there, and this has kind of become part of your who's more dominant issue, like the who has the better reputation in the neighborhood as far as things. And so despite the storm and the lateness of your human, you decided to go across the street and see what was going on, and you wanted to get Mr. Winston Churchill's attention before going to check on Gremlin. So you climbed up some little, like, some of the stonework and the ladder that goes up to the second floor to get into the apartment where Mr. Winston Churchill lives. Does that sound right so far? All right. So while that was going on, Mr. Winston Churchill, or Chairman Meow, as you are known, you had been hanging out, just relaxing. You were locked in because of the storm. Your human didn't leave the door open for you to go out onto the patio, nor did he take you down into the bodega, because it was a delivery day and the front door was going to be open and he didn't want to risk you getting out. So this is a thing you're used to, and so you're just hanging out, and you know that the building that you live in is haunted. Boggins tend to show up in the forms of spirits and various different pestering forms. And so you've chased them off before, but as you were sitting there, just this weird feeling came over you. And so you'd climbed up on top of the kitchen cabinets and you were watching out for whatever. And around that time, you heard a meowing at the door, the sliding door that goes out onto your porch. And you had noticed that from across the way, MacGyver and Cheese had come to visit you. And so you went down and with some help from yourself, they were able to get the locked door opened it, came through, and then closed it again. And you decided to go down to the bodega originally because what the hell was Gremlin doing down there? He's probably causing problems again. And so you managed to get the lock open, went out the door, and realized that the lights were out. And that there was that weird feeling again. It reminded you a lot of what Boggins in the area felt like, but it was different. It was more sinister or something. And so you decided to go down to the bodega, and you went down the hallway to kind of listen. And you kept smelling this horrid smell. It was like wet, dank, bad trash and some rotten cheese and like really bad fish, like not even like the good fish and the kind of like semi-okay fish. This was like really bad fish that even you wouldn't eat. And so as you followed, you didn't hear anything from any of the apartments, which was kind of weird. And you managed to get to the end of the hall where there was a fire escape stairwell that goes down. You managed to get that door open, went down to the floor below. You went up. You went up a floor. And as you were looking through the window, like the little window on the door, you saw that the lights were slowly going out in a progression down that hallway. And so you managed to get that door open, went in, and tried to figure out where this Boggins was. And you could see it, you could smell it, and you could feel its presence, but you couldn't find it. And so, as she does, MacGyver relied on her ability to projectile poop in order to chase this thing away, and it seemed to work. The continuation of the darkness stopped, and the lights slowly came on, and that scent faded away. At which point you decided to go down to the bodega. Getting down there, you could hear crashing noises, slipping through the beaded curtain. You saw that there was a large spill of milk where like not like it wasn't spilled, but like a glass bottle had been broken. And you noticed Gremlin was sitting on top of one of the aisles, like on the shelf that makes the aisle. And he looked over at you and knocked a bag of chips off. And in your motion to essentially get up on Gremlin's level, you noticed that a person was laying unconscious on the floor next to the cooler where the spilled milk was. However, priorities. And so Chairman Meow went to face off against Gremlin. They got into a bit of a dominant spat. And kind of came away even. Neither of you really managed to determine at this time who was going to really be the winner of that spat. However, both of you had little scratches. I think Chairman Meow was scratched on their coat, and I believe you also scratched because Gremlin tried to bite you, and you tried to scratch Gremlin, and so Gremlin, who was already not the most handsome of cats, we'll say, kind of a scraggly fellow, and was covered in water and other things from crawling around in the trash cans and such. It didn't necessarily make Gremlin look worse, but you definitely scratched him up a little bit. And then, as you kind of let that settle down, he informed you that Queenie wanted to see you. And Queenie is not necessarily a cat that you know, but you have heard of Queenie, and she tends to rule over the area just to the northwest of here. And so you decided to go and see what this cat wanted. Because of the rain, and you were a little worried because getting wet causes your magic not to work, you decided to grab a cardboard box and solid snake style this, and so you went following Gremlin out into the rain with this box over the three of you. Did I miss anything? Does that sound right?
That sounds right.
All right. That was a lot of talking, and I need to drink some coffee here.
That'll wet your whistle.
Excuse me.
Yes, because we are adventurous kitties.
That's right.
I envision the box and then all these little fuzzy feet underneath that you can kind of see, and then they'll stop and kind of rustle around a little bit.
Yeah, every so often, if someone were to be watching, they would see one of your faces poke out from underneath and re-gauge where Gremlin is and then scurry after them. And it takes you a good 15 minutes or so to follow Gremlin in this manner. But you get to a neighborhood not unlike the one that you live in, Cheese and MacGyver.
Fluffers.
Sorry, I'm trying to use cat names when it's just you, and then when the humans are involved, but I'm going to bounce between them. So yeah, the neighborhood's a lot like yours, although it's a little better kept. You've heard that the cats in this area tend to be a little snooty, and a lot of them aren't let outdoors. Not that you're necessarily let outdoors, but you manage to allow yourself out from time to time. But You've heard that Queenie kind of lords over that area, and you have heard that the strays of the area also are. They also answer to her for some reason. And as you get closer to this house, it looks kind of like the one that you live in, except for it's 2 stories. Has this like a very similar building style, but the front yard is just like immaculate, and there's like all of these plastic flamingos standing in front, and the wings on them are just like spinning because they're like a windmill kind of thing. And Gremlin goes to the side fence and jumps up on it and kind of looks back at you, and you can see like through the seam of the box that he's up there, and then jumps down on the other side. What do you do?
Oh, you cheeky, stinky fellow. I mean, Fluffers is up. MacGyver's up for following. We have to figure out what's going on. So we'll talk to this Queenie, whoever she thinks she is.
Okay. So how do you want to get over this fence while in this box, or are you going to leave the safety of the box?
And are there any gates nearby?
It looks like there is like what he went through was, or over rather, is a gate that's in the fence, but it's not open. He jumped over it.
Is it one of those hook latch things that has a pulley on the other side?
You can't really see. It looks like on this side there's like a thumb depress. You've seen. Excuse me. You've seen humans use them when, with their weird digit.
Yeah. Who needs that thing?
Right?
What a waste. They make the world for themselves. They don't think of anybody else, Thumbs.
There's no like carports or anything nearby. No.
There is a garage attached to this building, but it's not open.
I mean,
And
I don't understand why.
How much is it raining now? Has it let up at all, or is it like mist, or is it like just pelting us?
It's still coming down. It's not necessarily blowing sideways like it was earlier, but it's still coming down.
Cheese, what do you think? Should we just go up and over, or should we try and open up the gate?
Maybe we can get Gremlin to open it from the other side. I don't think he will, but I would rather not get wet.
I'm gonna lean over and be like, "Hey, you're Gremlin's friend now, right? Make him open the gate for us."
Did you say that? Who do you say that to?
I say that to Winston Churchill.
Friend is a very vulgar term in regards to that creature. We've come this far. Queenie can come out. What?
You asserted your dominance.
Yes, and I will do it again. But we've come this far, so like Her Majesty may come out and see us. We have very precious little time.
From the other side of the fence, you hear some snickering. Yeah, that's not gonna happen.
Oh boy.
Well, then you're gonna have to open the gate.
What do I get?
Sure that Her Majesty will be quite cross with you if we don't come.
Nice.
You will gain her gratitude, and I bet you that's something that's worth a lot.
Why don't you, Chairman Meow, why don't you do a fate test here? Sorry, I want to make sure your score that you should be rolling here.
Let me pull up my Google Dice Roller.
Yeah, Google.
I love this thing. It's amazing. Right click gets rid of it, or well, click in. You can click This is an advertisement for Dice Roller. Awesome.
Why don't you do a coat check?
Coat. Where's my coat? Now, because I have one scar, does that affect my coat?
It does not. So you
Or-
have to get 3 points to
3
lose.
scars.
Yeah.
Okay. And then as I remember correctly, I'm rolling a dice per point, correct?
Correct. So 1d6 per point that you have. And evens are
Right.
successes. So just let me know how many successes you have.
It's 3 2s and a 5, so that would be 3 successes.
Nice. You hear some grumbling. Can't quite make out what's being said. But you hear a scrambling and then a click. And the gate kind of swings open slowly. And you realize that Gremlin is hanging on what looks like a metal rod that had been holding it shut. And he drops down and goes over and pushes it open. He just glares at the box and then continues on.
We have to preserve our powers and our appearance. We're beautiful. We should not be tarnished with rain.
Do you follow after?
Yes.
Okay, so the box scrapes along the ground. Kind of, it's starting to kind of fall apart a little bit at the bottom. It is so saturated, and you're like kind of catch it on the fence, and the piece rips off. But you're still able to stay dry underneath it. It is starting to drip through in a couple of spots, but you see that Gremlin has led you around the back, and there is what looks like a diamond-studded pet door. It's very sparkly around the edges, and it says in rhinestones "Queenie" across it. And he walks up and looks at you and then pushes his way through.
I love this. Our MacGyver, is like, should we ditch the box and ask, both Cheese and Meow over here.
Right, I
Is
mean,
it
we have no
time?
choice.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, let's push it off quickly.
Okay.
So with flair. So we're gonna like bounce this box back quickly and like just with lots of gravity to it.
Why
And
don't you
step out.
all make a legs check? Try and do throw it off, look awesome doing it, but also getting through the door before you get too wet
Yeah.
for your magic to not work.
All right, I got a 6 and a 4.
Okay, 2
I got a
successes.
4, 2, and a 3.
Nice,
Well,
2
2
successes.
successes.
2 4 and a 1 and a 3. Well, 2 4s and a 1 and a 3.
Oh,
So
2
it's
successes. Perfect.
Yep.
Yeah, you managed to throw it off. You're not really sure if anyone was actually watching, but you think it
Doesn't
looked
matter.
cool, right? And the three of you scurry through this door to find yourself in what looks like a dining room / kitchen. Like it's separated by essentially like a breakfast bar, and it just smells amazing in here. You can smell what was probably chicken that had been cooked for dinner, and the house is very clean. There are only like the steps of Gremlin as far as showing any kind of non-cleanliness to this place, and you see Gremlin over on the other side of the room just kind of waiting for you.
MacGyver will follow, but just take the scenery in, where the windows are, where the doors are.
Sure.
If there's anything we need to, get up to climb anything, just check it all out.
Yeah, there's definitely the breakfast bar, and in the dining room, there's a large dark wood table with 8 chairs around it. There's a large window that looks out into the backyard from there, as well as another one that looks out to the side of the house on the other side of the table. Not far from where you came in, there's a door that goes back out for humans to use to get into the backyard. It kind of separates the line between the dining room and the kitchen. The kitchen looks like it has a lot of counter space and several cupboards that you could jump up on, but it doesn't really look like there's a lot in the way of things to knock off. There are some canisters that look like they're like part of a unit, so they'd be much heavier than just a simple canister that you could easily shove off. And it doesn't look like there's any sorts of papers or pens. There are no like utensils kept in jars or anything like that for you to knock off. It's kind of, I mean, it's well thought out, I guess, if for someone who doesn't want
Super
things
clean. Okay.
right.
Well, what do you guys think? Shall we continue on?
Yeah. I guess the sooner we get out of here, the better.
We
Sure.
don't want to keep Her Majesty waiting.
All right, so the three of you head towards Gremlin, who stands up and his tail flips around and like a little bit of water falls off. You're not worried about him being able to use any magic. You're not even sure he's a very good sorcerer himself, and therefore you just kind of shrug. But as you get closer to where he was, you hear very low in the background, there's a TV on, and you can see that there's a couple sitting there on a leather couch. They have the Home Shopping Network on, but it's very quiet, and it appears that they are asleep. Gremlin heads up the stairs. Do you follow?
Sure.
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. So following up, you begin to smell the subtle signs of other cats, and you do notice, you don't see any of them, but you do notice that a door is open at the end of this hallway that you step into. There's the scent of laundry that had been done earlier, and there's definitely like maybe that's catnip coming from that open door down there. Sure smells like catnip. And you see Gremlin's back leg twitches a little and his tail twitches as he heads towards the smell.
It's like the opium room, you know.
Didn't know it was going to be this kind of party.
Oh boy. She sure entertains a whole variety. All right.
All right.
Yeah.
Following after.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So as you come around the corner that leads into the room in question, you're just kind of bedazzled for a moment by immensely bright pink. Pink is everywhere. It is reflecting off of every surface, even those that aren't pink. And there is like a large cat tree that is bright pink. There are several pillows set around the area that are bright pink. There is a bed, a cat bed, that is much larger than like a single cat bed. Everything about it is bright pink, and it has little pink tassels coming off of it. In pink rhinestones across the door, it says Queenie, and resting upon one of the pillows is a short-haired cat that smiles at you as you enter. Oh, please do come in.
Oh boy. MacGyver's just a little bit like taken back by all the pink, because Fluffers is just a little more rugged and rough and tumble, so it's just like a little bit of recoiling.
As you head in and you see this this cat set upon this pillow. She kind of reaches beneath the pillow with her claws and pulls out a small bag, a small satchel, and immediately the scent of catnip just wafts over you. And she kind of flicks it towards Gremlin. She says, "Thank you for your services. I will call you again if I need you." And kind of twitching, he goes over and he picks it up and walks off, and he glares at Chairman Meow. But now
I ignore him. I'm grooming. I ignore him. Don't even give him a side look.
There's like a little bit of a... And then he's gone out the door. And Queenie waits for a moment and kind of listens. And you hear the sound of footprints or footsteps going down the stairs. And then she goes, "Oh, thank you so much for coming. I am so glad to meet you. Oh my God, I didn't know if he was going to be able to get your attention, but I really appreciate you coming." And she hops down and she's like flicking her tail around. She comes up and she's like rubbing against Cheese. She's like, "Oh, you are so fabulous. Look at this wonderful jacket that you got. Who got this for you? Oh my gosh, look at your harness." And she goes over and like starts rubbing on MacGyver. And then she stops and she's just like, you sir, you've got it going on." And she kind of makes this like round motion with her paws as she looks at Chairman Meow.
Much of the chase, Queenie. We've come a long way in some rather rugged weather. Following your associate.
I
Is
appreciate
there a
it.
reason why you interrupted our very beautifully restful evening?
Well, I mean, yes, there is. But first of all, I just want to say thank you again for showing up. I've been wanting to meet you all for some time now, and I really appreciate you taking your time out of, what is obviously a thing that's working well for all of you because you look fabulous. Okay, so I don't know if you noticed, but my people, they're asleep downstairs, and I can't get them to wake up. And a lot of the others around the area, the strays, told me that they're having a hard time waking their people up. And like normally I wouldn't worry, but it's like well past second dinner time, and I was wondering if I could get you to help, because I've heard like legendary tales about your tails. Did you see what I did there? I didn't even mean to do that on purpose. But I've heard that you can work some really amazing magic. Like, obviously, I've got it going on here as well, but I'm not quite so, well-to-do in my magic. I just, I keep it all about this right here.
MacGyver's like slack-jawed. Like, just can't even respond. Just a little like, what is happening here?
Totally
and like
fair.
looked to Cheese and to Chairman and was like, what is going on?
Yeah, I'm gonna, I guess, share this similar blood. Because, Cheese didn't know what to expect, but it definitely wasn't this.
And she does say, I'm sorry for like bringing you out this late at night and in the storm, but I was worried, and I figured I would send one of my lackeys over to get you.
Yeah.
I get them to do my bidding by just having my humans like give them like some canned tuna every so often, and then I like sneak them catnip and stuff. It's a pretty good, system that I've got down.
Wow. It seems like it. Well, it does sound like there's a problem because we did run into a human that was sleeping on the floor of the bodega. So, obviously we want them to wake up. And yes, it's second dinner. So, I mean, what happens when it's snack time or breakfast? It's a problem. I'm happy to help.
And part of the recap that I missed was that your humans were all asleep as well. So
Okay.
Cheese and MacGyver, your Tony, the dad, was asleep, as was the daughter. And as you were leaving the bodega, you had seen that Chairman Meow's human was also asleep at the bodega, like leaning on the countertop. So this definitely seems to be a
Yes.
thing.
This is a serious problem, so we're happy to help. And if you have people that'll assist us, that would be fantastic.
I mean, I don't really have anyone to assist you. It's more like that's why I was calling you.
Fabulous.
Because I definitely have, like, I can pay you. I have, and she goes over and like flips that pillow over, and there's just like several pouches of catnip underneath, as well as like some just like random cat treats that it looks like she's hoarded away.
Well, maybe you could pay others to assist us.
I mean, I don't know anyone who's as good as in magic as you. I mean, am I wrong? Are the tails of your tails? And she like starts giggling again. Are they over? Are they? Sorry, I can't think of the word. Are they blown out of proportion? Are they not true?
No, we're fine. It would just be nice to also have some lackeys help us in all of this.
Well, I mean, I can see about getting Gremlin to go with you.
Sure. He's scrappy. As long as he's motivated, I think he'll be fine.
Really loud, you hear, Gremlin! Gremlin, are you still here? Gremlin! Gremlin! And sooner or later, you hear some climbing coming back up the stairs. And Gremlin comes in and sits just inside the door. He's cleaning himself, preening. Doesn't really seem to be making his coat any better, however.
Oh, poor All right, all right. Well, what do you guys think?
Yes, if you could help these fine cats to help wake my humans, that would be fantastic. Whatever they need, of course you'll be paid. Of course, boss. Yeah, whatever you need. And he just kind of like does these like little quick bows with his head.
Grandma.
But then he glares at Chairman Meow, and there's that like deep in his chest.
Long leg goes up, and I'm going to try and roll over my large ass to groom myself, groom my inner leg, kind of also to hide the visage of Gremlin from my eyes.
Perfect.
And yeah, and do that like how like cats do that weird like I'm grooming, but I'm also mad. I'm mad grooming. Mad grooming.
Perfect. So while there's the sound of a raspy tongue cleaning fur, Cheese, what are you thinking over there?
I'm just gonna turn to Queenie and say, do you have anyone that's, I guess, a bit more capable, or is this the best you can come up with?
I mean, like, Gremlin is likely the best that I can do right now.
Oh my God. MacGyver's just gonna kind of like roll her eyes and just look at everybody and be like, "Okay, this is what we've got. Let's try and help our people."
Is there anything that I can do to help? Are there any clues that you have found so far?
I mean, has there been any kind of electrical issues that you've had in the house? And when
Oh,
would those
yes.
have occurred?
Yes, during this storm that we've been having, it's been flashing on and off, and there was a pretty horrid scent that passed by the house earlier.
So how earlier? Would you say it was maybe around the same time that your human fell asleep?
I mean, I wasn't really paying attention to what my human does. Who does that, right? But yes, I would say that it was likely around that time.
Do we have your permission to check out your home?
Of course, whatever you need.
Thank you. And then, MacGyver's gonna kind of like tap on her buddies and just like let's get out of here and start
Yeah, let's
actually
do it.
looking around.
Okay. Chairman Meow, what are you up to?
I'm just trying to think about how we could magically deal with this. 'Cause this is not like a normal boggin. It doesn't seem to have a tangible form.
You know, with what you just said, I'm not even going to have it a roll. It dawns on you that you have heard of creatures that can keep people in dream, but it's usually only when they're already dreaming.
Hmm.
However, what if there was a creature in dream that either could or had learned to affect the waking world?
Is there? I mean, would that be through a dream portal?
It would make sense if
Is
it
it?
was in dream, then it wouldn't manifest here. Maybe you would see manifestation around it, but it wouldn't actually be here.
Is there a way into that world?
Go to
Into
sleep.
that dream place? Go to sleep. So we'd have to like astrally project.
Yeah, essentially
In a sense.
yeah, it's for you as a cat, it's quite easy if you want to go into dream. You just kind of go to sleep and you're in dream. It's not a struggle at all to be aware there. If you don't want to like actively walk around dream while you're sleeping, you can just sleep, and maybe sometimes dream kind of imposes images on your sleeping mind, but never really affects you that way, but neither do you affect it. But if you want to be in dream, yeah, you just go to sleep and walk on through.
Have you tried slapping them in the face? Putting your feet on their nose?
I have, yes. I've even tried, flicking them with my tail and putting my butt right up in there.
You have shown them the starfish of awakening.
I have, I have. Have you seen my starfish? If it was in your face, trust me, you would wake up.
This is the way. Have you attempted to enter the dream?
I'm not. I'm not really the best at dreaming. It's probably something to do with my lack of magic. Again, I'm all about this, less about magic. Um, that's why I was hoping you could help.
What do you think, Cheese?
I guess it wouldn't hurt to try to go through the dream. Um, I don't know. Do you think we'll actually be able to get any help from Gremlin?
in the dream. I'm more concerned about him being awake while we're asleep.
That's fair. Is there? I mean, maybe we should put him to sleep first.
Oh, I would like to put him to sleep first. I hear they do that at the vets. Eternal sleep. They go to sleep. All the dreaming he could ever want. Perhaps we can do this dreaming in a more secure location.
Yeah, maybe we should head back to the bodega, or maybe our place.
How are we gonna get back to our place?
That's a good question. I think our box is probably useless now.
Certainly your humans would have a designer jacket for every occasion. They are...
Oh, do you need a jacket? I have like... Yes, of course. I can lend you one of my many raincoats.
That sounds
Excellent.
wonderful.
She flicks her tail a little bit as she walks away, leaves the room. Gremlin kind of ducks his head as she walks by, and then turns and follows her as she heads down the stairs.
MacGyver, what do you think about this?
I mean, this seems like a lot, and I'm not exactly sure if the plain normal ingenuity that we have will help.
We could go into the dream. We could seek assistance perhaps there, or maybe another layer of scent, a different form of trail.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Perhaps we bring Queenie with us instead of I've forgotten his name. That one. Would be helpful to have someone to keep watch. Maybe someone who is a bit more appreciative of our legend.
Or maybe even a little more loyal. Less sketchy. Yes. But we've got what we've got.
About this
Unless you have
time,
a way to pay him.
you get to the bottom of the stairs and you see that Queenie and Gremlin are over by the front door, where there's a large bench. It's like a large wooden bench, but you can see that it has a hinged top on it, and Gremlin is like pushing it with his head, and it opens up, and Queenie jumps in, and for a moment just kind of walks around, having that first entrance of a box feeling, and then she's like, "Oh, right." And starts like throwing clothes out, and there's like poofy clothes, and there's like weird, like really skin tight, shiny clothing, and there's hats and booties and all these things. But sooner or later, she ends up finding several rain jackets. Some of them are like clear plastic, and the edges are colors. And she pushes a button on one, and the colors light up and kind of shift between reds and greens and yellows and blues. And then there's some like one of the raincoats is just like it looks kind of like a disco ball. Don't know if like your cats necessarily know what a disco ball looks like, but it's like very shiny and glittery. This is likely the best that I can do. The clear one there will fit the majesty of Chairman Meow, whereas the other two should fit the others fine.
Okay.
MacGyver's good with the one that has electrical stuff in it, just in case, the one that lights up.
Yeah, so there's two of those. One of them is a little larger.
Okay. Well, whichever one fits me better, or whichever one doesn't fit Cheese.
Okay. Cheese, are you good with the disco ball one?
Yeah, I'll take the disco ball one.
So as you go to get in the other one that lights up, MacGyver, you see Gremlin is also heading for that one. What do you do?
I don't care enough about it,
Okay.
right? So I'll take whatever's left over from. If Gremlin wants to have some bedazzle, I'm cool with it.
Okay. So he slips into that one and then sits up next to Queenie and looks at Chairman Meow. Obviously wearing the same style of outfit. And Queenie like digs around and throws another one out for you that's like a bright pink with like this kind of poofy edging around it, around the head hole.
That's perfect.
Okay. So, all sufficiently dressed to keep the rain off of you. What would you like to do?
Return, and find ourselves a secure location,
Okay.
preferably close to where we last smelled it.
All right. So you want to go back into the apartment room or the apartment building with the bodega in it?
Or the other house, because we probably would lose the smell in the rain if it's been moving from house to house. Probably only smell it inside the houses, yeah? Is there a lingering scent?
It did seem to linger a little bit earlier when you encountered it, but it faded away before you left. But you also felt like you chased it off, so yes, you feel like it will dissipate after, and you don't smell it here right now, so it doesn't linger that long.
We try and locate the direction it's headed. Can we triangulate from where it was from here towards where we came from? Is there like a pathway that would make sense? Some kind of pathing.
Potentially. So if it hit here earlier, which you're getting the feeling it did based on what time Queenie told you that her humans were asleep, and then with the time that you, the MacGyver and Cheese, the time that your humans were asleep compared to when you encountered it at the bodega building, you kind of get the feeling it. You get a general idea of where it might be.
We should perhaps go look ahead in the direction where we think it's going and see if we can't intercept it there.
That is a good idea.
See if we can maybe find some humans that are not sleeping yet. Or, again, try and get into somebody's dreams and see why, like, what they're doing in their dreams. And maybe why someone would want them to be sleeping.
So technically, there are people in this house that are sleeping. Also, you could go back to either of your homes and find people that are sleeping if you want to essentially try to use their dreams as a more direct doorway into dream to where they are. Because you know that in dream, location here has very little to do with location in dream. You tend to like to manifest into dream in the forest of cat trees, but if you wanted to like try and attempt to enter the dream of one of your humans, proximity to them does help. You can attempt to do so from anywhere. It'll just take a little more oomph on your part.
Well, should we maybe try this couple here in this house before we go out into the rain and just see what we can see, I guess? What do you guys think?
Yeah, but aren't we concerned about the gremlin doing something nefarious?
I mean, he's always going to do something nefarious. But we clearly know that he's addicted to catnip, and that's enough of a motivation for him to at least help us a little bit.
That's
Can he
fair.
even? Is he even capable?
What was the question? Sorry, I missed it.
Is he even capable of joining us in the dream?
I mean, technically, all cats can step into dream, but you get the feeling that his control over magic is pretty weak, which means his anything he can do in dream would also be pretty unimpressive.
Hmm. You know, you there. You. I did see that you had a pretty good haul, and your queen was so very incredibly generous. And it would be such a shame that you didn't, at least for a little bit, enjoy the fruits of your labor. Perhaps, if you wished to take a moment to revel in the spice,
The spice
we'll
must
get
flow.
to you. The spice must flow. We will get to you when the time is right, or as time has passed. One or the other.
He kind of looks at you, and then he looks over at Queenie. I'm not allowed to in the house. Never in the house.
Oh, well, I heard there's a garage.
I mean, if you don't need me, I'm I'm more than happy to head out. I was kind of hanging out, waiting to see if the people were gonna wake up and give me some dinner, but it doesn't seem like they're gonna do that. So, I'm if you don't want me around here, I'm gonna just head out.
How about we call you when we need you? Is there a certain way that you prefer?
Oh, good. Queenie has her ways. Yeah,
But if we were able to call you, then
yeah, that's not gonna happen. And he
well,
just
that
glares at Chairman Meow again.
There is some way for you to be useful. There is a way for you to be useful for the first time in our encounter today.
I mean, I went and got you. Oh, you said useful, right?
Yes, useful for us, for our use. Perhaps you would be so kind to go up uh, Elm Street and see if there is any electrical abnormalities, any lights flickering. Up about 2 blocks, and let us
Oh,
know.
oh, I see what you mean. You're trying to like figure out where it went.
Would be useful
Yeah.
information.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I could do that. But not
Now,
because you
remember-
asked me to. I'm doing it for Queenie.
Whatever
Well,
you
that-
need to convince yourself.
I
Grooming.
think that's admirable, but she also mentioned that she was going to pay you for helping us as well. So thank you for this.
Oh, absolutely. Anything for Queenie.
Okay.
And he'll head out the I almost called it the doggy door. The pet door. He heads out the pet door. Don't call it a doggy door.
Mm.
What do
All
you
right.
do?
Well then, yeah. Then we'll head over to the sleeping humans. Then.
Okay. So there's like a couple. They're a fairly young couple. And they seem to be like snuggled up with one another, and they were watching TV. Currently on the TV, they're selling what looks like some jewelry. In fact, you're pretty sure you saw something kind of like this hanging from Queenie's wall. Maybe the same kind of necklace or something. But they just appear to be out. And as you get closer to them, there is just like the faint hint of that smell that you encountered in the apartment building.
What do we have to do again to enter into their sleep? Can we all do it, or should we send one of us in to do that?
You can all do it. You essentially just go to sleep, and then you step into dream. If you want to actively go into dream, if you don't want to, then you don't have to.
Okay. Well, I think MacGyver is totally wanting to like dream meld with these humans.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So, I'll kind of curl up, like jump on the couch and curl up on their shoulder necks area, and just go to sleep.
Okay. Is anyone going with MacGyver?
I'll go.
Okay.
Is there an armchair?
There actually is an armchair. It's a large like leather lazy boy. Looks like it has, and it has like one of those like pullover blankets, like it's like thrown over the back, and it just doesn't look like it gets used very often.
Going to nest up, like, to pull that thing down, pull
Okay.
that blanket down, and nest up in the armchair. Very
Oh.
important to be as comfortable as possible.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, just so you know, that's my dad's chair, and I'm not allowed on that. Okay. Yeah. That's.
It doesn't
It's
seem
fine.
like he minds.
It's fine. I'll take care of it later. It'll be fine. I appreciate you all. I hope you know that. And as you
Just
get
trying to
nested
help
in there,
Queenie.
so the proximity definitely makes honing in on their dream much simpler. However, because you don't know them, it is a little more difficult. So I'm just gonna have you each roll magic, which is your tail.
Tail.
And you're looking for 2 successes.
Or successes.
Nice.
I got 2 successes.
Okay.
Celeste took all my dice and
It happens.
spilled them on the floor. So we've got 1 4, 1 6, 1 6. That's 3. A 3 and a 5. So we've
Nice.
got 3 successes.
Perfect. So all
Oh,
3 of you easily curl up, get comfortable, and then just step into their dream. It's really just a matter of disconnecting from this existence and then reawakening in the dream. Mick, roll a d6 for me. Tell me if you got odd or even.
All right. Odd.
Odd. Okay, so it becomes apparent to you. You can always tell, like, when you're around multiple dreaming people whose dream you're stepping into, and so it's very apparent right away that you've stepped into Queenie's dad's dream. Adela, what do you think this fellow is afraid of?
Oh, this guy? Let's say he's afraid of being homeless because he lives in such a nice house. I bet you he works really hard to keep
Okay.
it to not be uncomfortable.
Okay. So as you step
Or
in,
he's afraid of something messy. Or it
Yeah.
could be both.
so as you step into the stream, it's very cold, and you immediately smell something burning, and everything is very dark. You're not really used to seeing existence in this way. Your eyes are much more capable of seeing in the dark than humans. However, because you are in this fellow's dream, you're really seeing it through his perception rather than yours. And you can see that you're under some kind of large like concrete bridge, and you can hear that there's traffic going over it, and it's snowing. Where you are, it's not snowing on you, but it is snowing. It's very cold, and you can see that there are these large barrels that have something inside that's burning, and it doesn't smell good. It's not like when they light fires in that fireplace that you have in your house, MacGyver and Cheese, where they light like wood on fire for some reason. That's actually kind of comforting, and you can like lay by it, and it's nice and warm. This like does have a little bit of heat, although you're not feeling it as much, but it smells pretty horrid at the same time. And off in the distance, you can just hear muttering and angry shouts, glass breaking, and you do notice that huddled up inside of like a tarp that's kind of laid out like a tent is this fellow. He's wearing just like rags of a suit. It looks like it was at one time a very fine suit, and like the scent of body odor and unwashed, unkempt humans is just like saturating this place. And he seems to be hiding.
Well, I mean, it sounds like a nightmare to me. So, I mean, I'll go up to him.
Show him your starfish. That usually wakes up a human. Press your paw against their nose, and one on their eyeball,
And say
and
the
then
words.
show them. Yeah, starfish, wake up, give me breakfast. I think that's usually how that works.
Okay. We can do that.
All right, so you go and try and wake this fellow up.
Yes.
Like here, he appears to be awake, but you want to try and use your magic to wake him.
Yeah.
Why don't you roll a magic roll for me?
Oh my gosh. Tell me how many I need for that.
You roll and tell me how many you get.
Oh, well, I'm just gonna do, okay. I've got one die in my hand, and I have rolled a 3.
You only have one on your tail?
No, I have 5, but my daughter has all the rest of the dice.
Just roll
Here,
that
we're
die. Just roll that die
Okay.
5 times. Yeah.
But I've got a 3,
Okay.
I've got a 4,
Okay.
I've got another 3, I have a 2, And I have another 2.
Okay. So as you do this, and usually you have a pretty easy time waking your humans up when you want them to come and feed you or do whatever. Um, this guy actually like grabs you and is like, "Go away," and like throws you back out of the tarp
Oh my god.
and like pulls the
Whoa.
tarp closed.
I'm not used to this.
While that's
I'm used to
happening,
somebody wanting to like hold me tight, like too tight.
yeah, it was weird. Like, one, how dare this fellow, and two, like, what the heck?
Yeah.
But while that was happening, outside the tarp, you hear what sounds like rubbing. Like, maybe, like, it's kind of like when you rub against a wall or something, but obviously neither of you is rubbing against any wall, and you don't see anything, but there's this, like, weird kind of raspy rubbing noise, and it seems to be growing closer. Cheese and Chairman Meow, what do you do?
I guess I'll go on the defense and wait for this rustling sound that's coming forward, in case it's a threat.
Okay. Chairman Meow.
I'm gonna also join Cheese on that endeavor, but I'll face the opposite way just in case. So we've got 180 view. So we get 180 ear swivels.
Nice.
Very important for cat sonar, whisker sonar, all of the typical cat sonar things that must be done.
Totally fair. So as you're watching, it seems like the shadows around here, and again, you're in a lot of dark areas that you can't see into anyway, but the shadows you can see start to twitch. Like their edges are trying to run away, and the shadows start to jerk away from the direction that the slithering is coming from. They start to like kind of grow and elongate, like they're trying to get away.
Pounce on the shadows.
Okay. I'm not going to make you roll for this one because it is just a shadow. Like you're just jumping like on a shadow, and so you do pounce on it. It does smell a little weird. Similar to that smell that you smelled in the apartment building. And it slowly gets stronger as the noise gets louder.
Yeah, that. Pap, 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 pap.
While you're patting Cheese, what are you doing?
Is there anything going on like in front of my general direction?
Why don't you roll? I'm pretty sure there's a senses roll. Let me double check. I believe it is face. It is face. Just roll a face for me.
All right, I got 3 evens.
Nice.
3 successes, I guess.
So as you're watching, you also see the shadows kind of beginning to pull away from the direction that the sound's coming from. And in the darkness that you can't see through, you do notice that there's something even darker climbing through it. And from that direction is where everything is pulling away from. And a mouth opens, and these dark teeth dripping with some kind of saliva or something leers at you. What do you do?
I'm gonna pounce on it.
Okay. So you want to attack it physically? Just making sure.
Yes.
Okay, so you could choose to either do a fangs or a claws check.
I'll go with claws.
Okay. Do you make any noise as you're doing this, or like to warn the others? Or is this a silent
Yeah,
thing?
I'll make noises to warn the others, like,
Okay.
hey, I'm going in. I only got one success. So.
Okay. So you jump into this pool of shadow in which this other shadow seems to be existing, and you do your best. You like claw at it, take some swipes. Your claws don't seem to meet with anything. It's like this thing has dodged out of the way, or you couldn't connect with it for some reason. And Chairman Meow, behind you, as you're batting away at the moving shadows, you hear. So is it more of a shriek, or do you say something?
Kind of like a battle cry, I guess.
Okay. Kitty litter. I don't know. Jim Meow, what do you do?
I mean, in my bulk, it's not as impressive as a more spry younger cat. But I will cat and cucumber maneuver, which is probably more like a really ungraceful like hop, as opposed to a leaping pivot.
Okay.
And darkness, you said? Darkness, a mouth, cheese.
Yeah. You don't really see that. You can see kind of the outline of cheese, or like the shadow of cheese in this darker area. Why don't you make a face check to see if you can see what it is that
What is
cheese is dealing with?
Where's my sheet? Where has it gone? There it is. All right, face. Let me clear off this dice roller. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2 successes.
2 successes. There is something there as well. You can't really make it out as far as what it is on the other side of cheese. But whatever it is what cheese leapt into this pool of shadows to try and swat at.
Think I'm going to get into, pouncing position. Kind of get the little wiggles going
Right.
on. It'll take a second to kind of get that warmed up. I'm old. But yeah, I'm gonna wait and see if it reveals itself so I can get a good pounce on it.
Okay.
Call out
MacGyver,
for MacGyver.
do you have a moment? I don't want to interrupt.
Yes, I do. So, do I know that all this is going on?
You-
Have I come out yet?
You definitely heard, and you have heard Cheese's battle cry before, and therefore you are sure of what that noise was.
Okay. Well, then I'm going to head over to Cheese immediately and try and help and pounce. Yeah.
Okay. Why don't you also make me a face check to see if you can see what it is that Cheese is facing off against?
Okay. Let's see here. I get 4. There's a 6. Another 6. Another 6. And 2.
Nice. So 4 successes. It's as you head that direction and you're kind of coming around Cheese, there's definitely a shape there. It seems larger than Cheese, and it seems kind of like it moves like a human, but like it's on all fours, and its arms are like spread out, and it's like moving around in this very weird unnatural style, but its head is kind of elongated, like its jaw is just huge, and it has these teeth inside, and everything about it is just this darkness that makes it very difficult to see in the shadows. However, you do like you can see it, and it's seems like it's kind of heading past Cheese and towards the fellow in the tarp tent.
So do I have like a plain line of sight, and have I also not been noticed?
You do have a plain line of sight, and you're pretty sure if you could see it, it has a plain line of sight on you because you're just like outside the tarp
Okay.
after
Okay.
he checked you out.
I want to see if I can maneuver myself into a place where I can see it, it can't see me, and I'm gonna try and like projectile poop on it.
Okay. Sure.
But I want to do it stealthily.
What in this area would you like to hide behind? There's like
Uh, that's like a trash can of some sort, or a
Sure.
pile of rubble or garbage.
Okay. So as you creep that direction, why don't you roll your is it specialty or ability? Can't think of what they're
Okay.
called.
Okay, so I've got 2 on that. 3 and a 4 for projectile pooping. And I only get 2 for that.
Whereas earlier your projectile pooping seemed to chase off whatever this thing is, and that smell is definitely rolling forward with it, and so you're pretty sure this is it, or it's at least connected in some way to it. It definitely shares a smell. The projectile pooping doesn't, you're not sure you hit it. You kind of sprayed in that direction, but it didn't seem to chase it off this time.
Damn, what a waste. What an absolute waste.
What an absolute
waste. Oh boy. Okay. Then I think I'm gonna go attack it.
So we'll
I'm
call
gonna run
that
up it.
we'll call that your turn, and then
okay.
it's going to slither forward. So being next to it, Cheese, you can see it. It does have these arms and legs that appear to be appendages, but you hear it slithering and rubbing against the ground as well, and it kind of slithers towards the tent past you, and you hear it say "mine" as it does so, and then it just
Says what?
it says "mine" in a very like raspy, hissy voice, and it doesn't like lift the cover of the tarp. It just oozes underneath it and disappears.
Okay.
What do you do?
I'm gonna run after it.
Okay. So you run after it and bolt under this tarp, and it seems like it's wrapped up and around the fellow who you came here to find, who's now just like shaking, his eyes rolled up in his head, and muttering, making small, whiny, crying noises to himself.
Okay. Can I bite the creature that's on him?
Sure. Why don't you make a bite? A fangs check.
I got 1 success.
Okay. It's very weird. Like you bite at it, but it's almost like it is a shadow, whereas it doesn't. You've batted at shadows before, kind of like Chairman Mao out there was doing before, and you feel like it's a thing that is entertaining, but this doesn't have much effect.
Okay.
While that's happening outside, Chairman Meow, what are you doing?
Going to follow Cheese.
Okay.
I'm not sure if this is possible, but can I unleash the red dot that I got?
Do you have an ability with that, or should we call
Just
it
a reputation.
magic?
I don't know if that would be an ability.
So
but,
what is? How many dice do you have on your reputation?
For that one, I have. Let me see here. On that reputation, I have 2.
And what's your magic?
5.
Why don't you roll 4 dice?
1 6 and 2 2s, so 3.
Nice. So, seeing as this is dream and not the real world, where the red dot doesn't really listen as much as you want it to, but you sit back and how do you summon this red dot?
But it's gonna have to be paw on the ground where I caught it the first time, and then lift my paw off the ground to allow it to skitter forward.
Okay.
Really, that'll do something.
So as you place your
Maybe
paw
distract it.
on the ground, your tail like flits up and kind of moves around in this kind of specific manner. And from under your paw, you see a red glow begin to form. And you pick up your paw. What does the red dot do?
Well, I mean, it's going to do what red dots always do, and it's going to skitter, and make its way in, probably away from me, because that's what red dots do. They're always moving
Right.
away from a cat. Ideally in the direction of whatever that is, and whether that is something that catches its attention or is tangible enough to strike it, I'm not really sure. But what I do know is that the red dot is loose, and perhaps it will do something. Because those things are evil. The red dots. Surely you fight evil with evil.
Exactly. Beat me to
Yeah.
it. All right, so you unleash this red dot and it skitters forward towards this person that you came to try and release from this dream, and because Cheese is there, it doesn't go directly towards them, but kind of arcs off and around and is jittering about, and then it goes up the leg that Cheese is not next to, and you see where the shadow that is wrapped around this fellow like splits, like it ceases to exist in those parts where the red dot is for several inches around it. But as the red dot moves, it flows back together, but it does hiss at you. It's like it can't exist where the red dot is, but the red dot isn't big enough to fully unmake it where it's hitting.
We need a bigger red dot.
So while that's
Bring us the big
going
red dot.
on, so MacGyver at this point, it is gone back into the tent. Your fellow cats have chased it back in there. You are still outside. What do you do?
I think I'd like to. Can I try and like magic bite it, or
Okay.
like do some kind of magic harm to it?
Sure. So one, let us check the dreaming rules here. What is your You have 5 in tail.
I have 5 in tail.
All right, so I'm not saying this is what you have to do, but I'm going to throw it out there.
Okay, okay.
So looking at the rules for dreaming and your magic, as you head in and you see the dot scurrying around, and it seems to be affecting this thing, but it doesn't. It's not large enough to really encompass it. You realize that you could use your magic. You can use your tail to alter other things. Now, it can't be a person, but you don't think, even though the red dot is an evil entity, you don't think it's a person. And you're pretty sure you could make the red dot bigger.
Okay. I would like to do that. I would like to see how that goes.
Okay, so you would need to roll your tail.
Okay.
And you need 3 successes.
All right. So I've got a 2, 4, 6, and a 5 and a 5.
Nice.
So I've got 3.
That is your 3 successes. As you were watching Chairman Meow, and you had just thought to yourself, we need a bigger dot, through the opening of the tarp tent comes MacGyver, and I feel like there should be a theme song here. And her tail twitches around and then flares out, poof, towards the red dot, which just grows and grows and grows. And as it does so, more of this person under the shadow is revealed. Although it's, colored red, and obviously that's not a good thing because the red dot is evil. However, it seems to be pushing away this other creature. And soon the red dot fully encompasses not only the person, but there's a little bit on Cheese. Cheese, do you stay there, or do you let the red dot touch you?
I'll let it touch me.
Okay, it's weird. It doesn't actually hurt. It doesn't, do anything to you, but, kind of change the color of your fur. But whatever this thing was is no longer there. You're not sure if it's gone or dead. You don't know if you destroyed it, but it certainly has disappeared from this fellow that it was wrapped around.
Okay, well, I'd like to pounce on the guy and see if I can't wake him up in his dream.
Okay.
Again. And maybe wake him up. I don't know.
Are you leaving the red dot, Chairman Meow?
I mean, it has been unleashed. This evil is something we'll have to deal with later. We will have to reconcile with what we have done.
Daddy.
But for now, it shall serve its purpose.
I love the fact that leaving it here, this guy's going to have dreams of the red dot for the rest of his life.
That's Daddy's.
It's evil. The red dot is evil and must be destroyed. But all weapons have their uses.
Okay. So, jumping upon this fellow, go ahead and roll. Does anyone else want to help to wake? Or do you want to let MacGyver try it alone?
I'll help.
Okay. If whoever wants
to try and keep the dot contained, so it doesn't go, destroying
Gotcha.
the world. But
Gotcha. So you
I'll focus on that.
So you move around, keeping it from speeding off in any direction. Nice. So anyone trying to shepherding the dot?
Shepherding the dot.
I feel like that needs to be a thing that you gain, like a reputation, a shepherd of the dot. So if you're trying to wake this fellow, roll a tail check for me.
All right, 6, 3, 3, 2, 2. So I've got
Nice.
3
Nice.
evens.
Also 3 evens.
Awesome. So the two of you jump up. You do the paw placement. Your tails twitch about. You meow, and even though he is like awake, apparently awake here, like his eyes are open and he's talking, and his face is kind of relaxing, and his eyes are starting to like roll back in down to be normal instead of the like weird catatonic fear that was there. And he just kind of smiles down at you, and he's like, "Oh, kitties," and then he just fades away. And you like easily land in the spot that he was in, and you look around, and this area is no longer shrouded in darkness. You can see just fine. It is nighttime here, but those like weird deep shadows you couldn't see through are no longer there, and it doesn't smell weird. There's like a faint lingering of that smell of the whatever that thing was. However, it doesn't seem to be as strong as it was.
So did we do it?
Maybe, but at what cost? At what cost?
I love it.
I guess we should we look for more, or should we report back to Queenie?
We should check and see if it worked. Just don't know if we can catch that dot again. We'll have to get another one. This one shall run free.
Yeah, and at this point, now that it's not like on the fellow or the creature, and all three of you are on this side of it, it just like speeds off under the tarp, heading in the opposite direction. As it does so, it like reduces back down to its normal size and disappears.
Hmm.
We'll have to address that later. I'll slip out of the dream.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll join.
Same.
Sounds good. So as the three of you slip out of the dream and you wake in your respective spots, you notice, MacGyver, that you are actually laying next to the Queenie's mom, and her dad is standing in front of this woman, kind of like shaking her gently. He's like, Margaret, wake up. I just had the weirdest dream. Margaret. And Margaret doesn't seem to be waking. And that scent of this strange nightmare continues to linger around her.
Here. No,
Hmm.
I'm here. I think we're gonna have to go into her dream now and help her.
Okay. What do you all think?
Yeah, I guess it worked. This human is now awake, so
Chum and Meow.
Oh, I've already fired my one and only nuclear device. Not sure. Do either of you have a red dot? It was quite effective. Or perhaps it's gone for now, and we can wake her in her dream. I'm gonna give a side eye over to the human who is awake. Is he
Every so often.
having any?
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Is he having any sort of reaction to us
I mean,
being there, or
he definitely like looks at the three of you every so often, and he kind of has this like weird, curious look on his face. Like there's a hint of, you're really good at like reading the emotions of humans. It's how you've managed to subdue them into the way that you have, where you are able to get anything that you want from them for essentially nothing.
Mm.
And so reading his emotions, he definitely has this like weird recognition of you, but he's more worried about why his wife won't wake up.
Settle back down, go full loaf, jump back in.
Okay. Are you following suit?
Yeah, I'll follow suit.
All right. So as you prepare to re-enter Dream to save Queenie's mom from this nightmare, we're gonna end this episode, and we will have a third part to Cat the RPG. Any questions before we wrap it up? I don't know if you've been listening to Dog the Libby making her noises back here. Not very cat-like, but she's tired of me talking about cats, I think.
Yeah, I haven't really heard much from her today.
I was curious.
She's been very quiet on the barks, which is good because Wait, oh, I heard that one.
Yeah, I think she did that one on
that
purpose, just to be louder. Yes, I know.
Yeah. Such protest.
Right. So we will pick up next Wednesday as the cats head into Dream once again to find the rampant nightmare and ideally free their humans. Make sure you follow everybody on their various social medias and follow us here on Twitch in order to be notified when we go live. Keep an eye out for things that are coming at the end of the month. The last Saturday of the month, we have Sentience 2D20, which is being run by the designer Al Spader, which is super exciting. He's been running Star Trek for us, which Adela has also been on, and Star Trek also a 2D20 system that he designs for. So it should be a good time. And then that Sunday is Everyday Heroes, I believe. I could be wrong about that, but yeah, check out that Sunday. We're doing a one-shot of Everyday Heroes Showdown on Suplex Island, which should be a ton of fun. So thanks for watching today, and we will see you next time. Thanks for watching. Bye.
And we're waving. There's some waving going on.